Are you sick of your Apple Watch? Do you want something with better training metrics, longer battery life and better looks? Buy Garmin. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I've recently switched from Apple Watch to Garmin. So I'll tell you a little bit about the comparison of the two models, why I chose Garmin and why you should. So I had the Apple Watch Series 9, the aluminium version, 45mm screen, and I switched to the Garmin Epix Pro Gen 2, 47mm case. I've had the Garmin for about a month now, and I have to say I'm pretty pleased with the overall performance of the watch. We'll talk about all the different features. We'll start by some basics. So the Apple Watch Series 9 is not, I think, available to buy new off Apple anymore, but when I bought it, I bought, like I said, the aluminium version, 45mm case. That was for $429. It's a similar price now for the Apple Watch Series 10. If you were to buy the 45mm case, for the aluminium it's the same price. If you go for the titanium version, then the price goes up to $749. With the Garmin, there is a few versions. There's the standard and the Pro. I had the Pro. The Pro has some advanced heart monitoring and ECG features, as well as the flashlight, which you can see here. I'll turn it on. That's pretty powerful, actually. Yeah, I'll turn it back off. That's the standard versus the Pro, and then in the Pro there is the standard versus the Sapphire edition. So the standard, the screen is covered with Gorilla Glass, which is pretty strong, pretty durable, but then the Sapphire is more durable, more scratch resistant. I got the standard edition, so the Gorilla Glass one, because it was cheaper. In fact, what I did is I got a screen protector from Amazon, but it's pretty good. It's pretty water resistant, it's not come off. I've used it multiple times, I've showered in it and it's not come off. It was an extra £100 for the Sapphire edition, whereas the screen protector was under £30, so it was a definite no-brainer. So with the Epix Pro Gen 2, it's $739. If you go up to the Sapphire edition, or if you go up to the 51mm case, it's $829. Now, I got it in a flash sale just before Christmas at $400, so it was a nearly £340 discount, so that was pretty good. So these are the prices. Depending on what version you go to, you could probably say that they are equal or similar prices, because the higher end Apple Watch 1 is $749, the higher end Epix Pro is $829. In terms of case sizes, the Apple Series 9 had 41, 45mm cases, the Series 10 is 42 and 46mm cases, so similar, two sizes. The Epix comes in 42, 47, 51mm. I've got the 47 and that feels chunky already. I didn't feel that the 51mm would add any benefit for the extra £100. In terms of the material of the case, like I said, the Series 9 was either aluminium or stainless steel. The Series 10 is either aluminium or titanium. The Garmin is a stainless steel case. In terms of weight, the Apple Watch is 38.7 grams in the version I got, so the 45mm aluminium. The Garmin is 78 grams, so it's about double the weight. It's not really noticeable, and in fact it actually feels better on my wrist. Now if I put the Apple Watch on, I feel like I'm putting a very small thing on my wrist. In terms of display, the Apple Watch has the OLED display, always on. There is no real bezels on the outside, so the whole screen size is the case size, so it's 45mm. It's covered in Iron X glass in the aluminium edition. The Garmin is an AMOLED display, because there is a thick bezel which actually protects the screen. It is 33mm screen size. It's touch screen and it's covered in Gorilla Glass. In terms of the features that you get with both watches. Key thing for anyone using them, especially for sports, long distance endurance sports, is battery life. So with the Apple Watch Series 9, and I believe the Series 10 is similar, you get up to 18 hours in battery life. You can get slightly longer if you put it on lower battery mode, but then you get reduced features. With the Epix Pro, you are getting up to 16 days of battery life, and I have to say it actually lives up to that promise. I have it on my wrist for a couple of weeks before I have to think about recharging it. In terms of charging capacity and speed, you can get the Apple Watch from 0 to 80% in 45 minutes. You can get the Epix in 1 hour from 0 to 80%, which is pretty good given it's a bigger battery and it lasts for longer. Now obviously the Apple Watch has a microphone, has a speaker. You can take calls on the Apple Watch. You can respond to your texts. You get your notifications and you get notified when calls are coming in on your Epix, but you can't respond to them that way. You can't type any texts on the watch. I personally don't find this feature helpful, so for me it's not really changed the game at all. Obviously Apple Watch has the Apple Pay, contactless payments. Garmin has Garmin Pay. Now there's always problems with limited providers and which cards you can use on the Garmin Pay. Again, for me that wasn't a feature that I was particularly bothered about. I usually use my phone to pay, so I've not really even added any cards on my watch yet. In terms of memory and storage, the Apple Watch Series 9 and I believe the Series 10 as well come with 64 gigabytes of storage. The Epix Pro comes with 32 gigabyte, but I don't think that will really limit how much you can do with it. Both watches have Wi-Fi connectivity, Bluetooth connectivity. The difference is going to be with the GPS. The Apple Watch has the L1 GPS, whereas the Epix Pro has multiband GPS, which is more accurate. You can play music on both watches. You can have Spotify, Amazon Music. I personally found using my Spotify premium account on the Apple Watch without the phone to be problematic. I've not been able to do it. Whereas on the Garmin you can just sync and download and play, so that's a definite bonus for me. Now when it comes to appearance, I think probably the Apple Watch wins on that one. The watch faces are pretty good. There's a lot of customization and they're all free. On the Garmin Watch Connect IQ app, you can either build your own watch face or you can download some. Now the ones that you can download are, I can't say 50-50, it's probably more than 50% of them are paid, so they come at £3, £4, £5, and less than that is free. You can still land some good free ones, but I think on that aspect I think the Apple Watch wins. Having said that, I've actually downloaded a watch face recently for the Epix and it's looking pretty good. I've added lots of features to it. It's borrowed or stolen from the Phoenix model, but it's pretty good, and the display is good on the Garmin. In terms of your training metrics, the Garmin wins hands down. So with the Apple Watch you get the exercise app, you get different exercise modes, you get running, cycling, swimming, but you get nowhere near the Garmin in terms of analysis and suggestions for your training metrics. With the Garmin you get your hill score, which measures your ability to run uphill, endurance score. You get suggested workouts based on your workout history, but you also get animated workouts, which shows you on the watch what you should be doing. You get training readiness, you get recovery time suggested after each workout, and you get body battery and VO2 max and HRV analysis. You can also use it with multi-sport transitions. So if you're doing triathlon, you can transition automatically between sports without having to switch yourself on the watch. In terms of its sleep tracking, it's pretty good, and it has a feature called Sleep Coach, and that gives you advice based on your sleep patterns in terms of how to restore yourself and improve your sleep. Now one thing that really annoyed me about the Apple Watch is the water resistance that it had, because you had to lock your watch or it automatically locks if it senses you're in the water, but then every time you come out you have to eject the water manually. I had an Apple Watch before this Series 9 which got ruined because I went into the pool on holiday and I forgot to eject the water afterwards and it just stopped working. Apple obviously said I was water resistant but not waterproof, so I got nowhere with that one, but it was a pretty annoying thing having to do that every time you shower or swim. The Garmin, there's nothing that you need to do, you just go into the shower, come out, dry yourself, dry the watch, done. It's 50 meter water resistant for the Apple Watch, it's 100 meters in the Garmin. Overall for me, I would choose the Garmin, and I would choose the Garmin again. Yes, the Apple Watch wins on some appearance features such as the display or the watch faces, but I think everything else really, the Garmin wins hands down, and I would recommend it to anyone, especially anyone who's a sports enthusiast, because it gives you lots of metrics and it gives you lots of analysis on your performance day to day. I hope you found that video useful, and I will see you in the next one.